6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by Mario Vijayawardena. The headlines. The inoculation of those over 20 years of age begins. The Sri Lankan Muslim community condemned the Auckland attack involving a Sri Lankan man. Sri Lanka launches tourism promotion initiatives with Russia and Ukraine. The Education Minister says teachers and principals will have to start their duties once they are fully vaccinated. The Health Ministry says that some people are trying to underestimate the service rendered by the Health Ministry in this critical juncture. The Paddy Marketing Board commences purchasing paddy harvests for the Yalla season. ABBA has announced their first studio album in 40 years. The inoculation of those over 20 years of age will begin in the Colombo, Gampaha, Gala and Kalutara districts from tomorrow. The same vaccination centres will carry out the vaccination drive. The Colombo Municipal Council Chief Medical Officer Dr. Ruwan Vijayamuni said CMC vaccination centres are located at Sugatadasa Outdoor Stadium, the Jintupitia MOH office, the Campbell Park, the Forbes Road Community Hall, the Shalika Hall and at Roxy Gardens. Meanwhile, school children will be administered the Pfizer vaccine once health clearance is obtained. The President's office said attention has also been drawn to conclude the vaccination of those between the ages of 20 to 29 over the next 2 weeks. The President has said that once the health authorities approve, it will be possible to vaccinate school children using the Pfizer vaccine. The Sri Lankan Muslim community condemned the Auckland attack involving a Sri Lankan man. Issuing a joint statement, Sri Lankan Muslim organizations said they are shocked and saddened to hear about the terrorist attack carried out in Auckland by a Sri Lankan. The joint statement said they unequivocally condemn this senseless and terrible act of violence on behalf of all Sri Lankans and the Sri Lankan Muslim community in particular. The Sri Lankan Muslim community said they also concur with the statement by New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinta Ardern that hate crimes and acts of violent extremism are not and must not be associated with any nationality, ethnicity, culture or religion. Sri Lanka has launched tourism promotion initiatives with Russia and Ukraine under the government's program to uplift the tourism industry. The Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says that Russia and Ukraine are among the top 10 countries with the highest number of tourist arrivals here in recent times. He said Sri Lanka implemented a project with Ukraine and Kazakhstan to bring tourists to Sri Lanka during the pandemic, and over 24,000 tourists have arrived here. Meanwhile, direct flights between Sri Lanka and Russia will commence from November 4th, the ministry said. The decision was taken during a meeting between officials of the Russian Airlines and the Sri Lanka Civil Aviation Authority. The ministry said that steps will be taken to hold such discussions with leading airlines around the world in the future with the aim of promoting Sri Lanka as a tourist destination. The ministry said that the arrival of Russian tourists will increase further after the launch of direct flights from November 4th. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Teachers and principals will have to start their teaching duties after they are given the second vaccination against COVID-19 by next week. The Education Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said the majority of the teachers and principals have been given the second dose of the vaccine with a vaccination drive already. However, no sudden decision could be taken to reopen schools until we are assured of the Health Ministry recommendation, he said. The minister added discussions are underway with the Health Ministry in this regard as to which grades should start first. However, before reopening schools, an extensive cleaning campaign should be launched for the safety of the children, teachers and other school staff. The minister said teachers and principals can return to their duties after the second jab according to guidelines issued by the Health Ministry. However, the teachers and principals can continue with their activities online, he added. The Health Ministry says that some people are trying to underestimate the services rendered by the Health Ministry in this critical juncture, notably about the vaccination drive. They are fabricating fake news to mislead the public merely to achieve their political goals. They use social media platforms to circulate these fabricated news items with well-edited video and audio clips. The Ministry of Health urges the people not to circulate such fake news items. Meanwhile, the medical doctors said while vaccinations may not fully prevent infection, it's one of the best tools we have to reduce the risk of severe illness and hospitalization when the Delta variant is widespreading island-wide. The Paddy Marketing Board commences purchasing paddy harvests of farmers in the Galle district for the Yalla season. The PMB brought paddy at the rate of wet paddy and was purchased at 42 rupees a kilo, and a kilo of dry paddy was purchased at 51.5 rupees. The farmers can also bring the dried paddy to the warehouse at the Yakkalamula Agrarian Services Centre and sell their harvest. The Southern Provincial Commissioner said the paddy purchasing mission is coordinated by the Galle District Office of the Agrarian Development Department. He said at the initial stage, over 30,000 kilograms of wet paddy were brought from the farmers in one day. A number of new agro-irrigation projects have now been launched under the climate-friendly irrigation project. All these projects are implemented by the Ministries of Provincial Agriculture with guidelines of the Central Ministry of Agriculture. The main objective of the project is to promote organic fertilizer manufacturing in the provinces of Uva, the North Central and the Northwestern and Eastern provinces, where climate issues always hamper the farmers in many ways. The Ministry of Agriculture has also taken measures to provide training for the farmers in those areas about the manufacturing process of organic fertilizer. The ministry says it will help them to produce high quality of organic fertilizer in the near future. The ministry will also provide an apparatus which can be utilized in the manufacturing process. The farmers selected for the scheme are now being registered, the Agriculture Ministry added. That's local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. SLBC, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. SLBC, the Vidamahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by SLBC Vidamahatmya.
The inoculation of those over 20 years of age will begin in the Colombo, Gampaha, Galle and Kaluthara districts from tomorrow. The same vaccination centres will carry out the vaccination drive. The Colombo Municipal Council Chief Medical Officer Dr. Ruwan Vijayamuni said CMC vaccination centres are located at the Sugdadasa Outdoor Stadium, the Jintupiti MOH office, the Campbell Park, the Forbes Road Community Hall, the Shalika Hall and the Roxy Garden area.
The main news story was brought to you by SLBC Vidamahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from SLBC.
And now in Watch Light.
Consultant pediatrician at the Lady Ridgeway Hospital for Children, Dr. Nalin Kitulwata, says it is not appropriate to give vitamin C tablets to children at the whim of the parents. He said social media posts were carrying messages saying that it is suitable to give vitamin C tablets to children these days to provide extra immunity. Dr. Kitulwata said that no medicine should be given to children without medical advice. He added that giving children arbitrary medication can cause other side effects.
World News.
And now in world news headlines, New Zealand supermarket stabbing government to toughen anti-terror laws. ABBA has announced their first studio album in 40 years. Volunteer groups in the US are now working to help people from Afghanistan. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinta Ardern has vowed to toughen anti-terror laws following Friday's knife attack in Auckland. The man, a Sri Lankan, stabbed 7 people in a supermarket. 3 of them are in a critical condition. The attacker, a known supporter of Islamic State, was shot dead by police. He has now been identified as Ahmed Atil Mohammed Samsudeen, a 32-year-old, and has arrived in New Zealand in 2011 and sought refugee status. New Zealand's Prime Minister described the stabbings as a terrorist attack. She said they expected that changes to the country's counter-terrorism legislation would be backed by Parliament by the end of September. ABBA has announced their first studio album in 40 years. It is scheduled for release on November 5th. The group also announced a set of virtual concerts of the band will be performed at a specially built venue at the London Olympic Park to begin next Monday. The show will play 6 nights a week, with ABBA band members appearing in digital form. A 10-piece live band will play live. The concept of the avatars, according to a report by The Guardian, first came about in 2016 and were designed by visual effects company Industrial Light and Magic, founded by Star Wars creator George Lucas. ABBA had broken up in 1982. In August, the group had now launched an ABBA Voyage site encouraging fans to sign up for inside information. Volunteer groups in the United States are working to help people from Afghanistan. Among them is a non-profit organization of mainly Muslims in the state of Virginia. A representative of the group says it received requests from other aid organizations for 300,000 meals. The group expects the activity to continue for more than 6 months. A volunteer said she was heartbroken to see footage of those suffering in Afghanistan and decided to do what she can. She added that one person might not be able to do much, but people working together can achieve a lot. More than 23,000 Afghans have arrived in the US since the Taliban took control in August. Many of them are being processed at military bases. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. New Zealand supermarket stabbing government to toughen anti-terror laws. ABBA has announced their first studio album in 40 years. Volunteer groups in the US are now working to help people from Afghanistan. That was World News.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, #1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
A special program is being implemented in the Ampara district in parallel to the national program for the production of organic fertilizers. The Ampara district secretary DNL Bandarnayaka says that a group of farmers who are interested in the field have already been selected and given training with an allowance for the production of high-quality organic fertilizer. This project is to be carried out covering all the divisional secretariats in the district, he added.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, #1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
In sports news, Japan has racked up golds in marathon and badminton in action-packed final day of the Tokyo Paralympics. The marathon events trace a route through central Tokyo, passing several city landmarks. The Olympic marathons had been relocated to the northern city of Sapporo to avoid the midsummer heat. Japan's Michishita Misato won gold in the race for female athletes with visual impairment. She took the lead at the 25-kilometer point and broke away soon after. Meanwhile, Switzerland's Marcel Hug won the men's wheelchair marathon. He also took gold in the event of the Rio Games in 2016. It was a 4th gold in Tokyo for Hug, who also won 800, 1,500 and 5,000 meter races. Paralympic organizers asked fans to respect the coronavirus state of emergency and watch from home. The 13-day Paralympics will wrap up later in the day with the closing ceremony at the National Stadium. The event's theme is Harmonious Cacophony. Organizers say the concept was inspired by a desire to acknowledge diversity and transform differences into unity.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Seahorse Yachts Private Limited of the Maldives is ready to invest $58 million to set up and operate a state-of-the-art yacht building facility at the Hambantota International Port Group premises. Production is set to commence by early 2022 and the project will generate over 500 direct and indirect employment opportunities.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The state of Qatar offers to help Sri Lanka to establish a reliable network for clean energy production. It will bring in a consortium of top-notch companies in energy sector for the purpose. Saad Sharida Al-Kabi, the Minister of State for Energy Affairs at the state of Qatar, made this pledge when he called on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the Presidential Secretariat recently. The Qatari minister mentioned that his country has successfully established such ventures in several countries, including Pakistan and Poland.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report.
The Met Department forecast showers or thundershowers at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces and in the Gala and Mathura districts. Showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Batikalo and Ampara districts, especially in the evening or night. Fairly strong gusty winds up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected in the western slopes of the Central Hills, the northern, north central and the northwestern provinces and in the Hambantota and Trincomalee districts. That was the weather report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The inoculation of those over 20 years of age begins. The Sri Lankan Muslim community condemned the Auckland attack involving a Sri Lankan man. Sri Lanka launches Tourism Promotion Act initiatives with Russia and Ukraine. The Education Minister says teachers and principals will have to start their duties once they are fully vaccinated. The Health Ministry says that some people are trying to underestimate the service rendered by the Health Ministry in this critical juncture. The Paddy Marketing Board commences purchasing paddy harvests for the Yalla season. ABBA has announced their first studio album in 40 years. That concludes this news broadcast.